That car, that was personal. The selling of the property, the house, that's okay. It's houses, and I suspect they might have been rental properties, vacation properties. But to me, listening to this letter, her car was personal. She said it. He sold my car. He gave up my car. That's the difference between shooting someone and stabbing someone with a knife. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to listen to a Dave Ramsey video that just ran yesterday, and it's called What You're Describing Is Not Normal. Let's hit it, folks.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Our question of the day comes from Susie in Florida.
Oh, it sounds like this is a letter call, but don't give up, folks. These letter calls have been deliciously entertaining, all right? MJ writes, thanks so much. Thursdays are my work from home days, so this is a great day for me. Wonderful. Put it on your calendar.
She says, I'm at my wit's end with my husband's spending. We got married young, and back then I assumed the poor choices were due to his age. I thought over the years that he would learn from his mistakes, but he hasn't. He recently racked up $125,000 in non-housing debt, and it's not the first time.
Oh, family. We already know where this is headed. He's run up $125,000. Okay, let's put this in perspective, okay? And she said this is not the first time. It's still too early to pour tea. My condo with $15,000 of ceiling to floor renovation. You're looking at the renovation behind me, literally ceiling to floor, trim, yada, yada, was $115,000 in 2020. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And she said he's run up $125,000. This is one of the first time. Now, Parler, I don't know about you. I don't know if I don't know if you guys are online, but if you can hear me, okay. The live stream does not tell me when you leave, okay. But I know enough to know with Parler, that ain't happening because Parler be checking those credit reports. And when someone says that's not the first time, that means you as the person, thank you for the thumbs up, Parler. That means you as the innocent party, you're stuck around for it some more. And you know that my belief is once you know about something and you're still sticking around, can you really play victim after some point? In other words, you actually become part of the cycle of dysfunction. This is just my thought, and it's taken me years of my own experience to be able to say that, okay? So I don't say that easily because we don't want to blame the victim, okay? But at some point, I've heard Dave say this on shows. At some point he goes, so are you tired of, what was it he said? He goes, are you tired of being in this sludge? And it seems like an insensitive thing sometimes to say, but in reality, it's not insensitive. It's a hard look at what point have you had enough of this that you're going to do something about it? Because let's face it, folks, we already know. I can tell you right now, we have an addiction shopping behavior or something like that is creating the debt. I don't know if it's shopping or gaming, whatever. But at some point, we as the innocent party, okay, and I've been on the guilty party side with my shopping addiction. But at some point, the innocent party has to go, all right, they did this action. She said he spent $125,000 or whatever the amount is, okay? And he did it again. So now my question to her, and we're only, this is a letter call, okay? We're only a minute to the letter call. My question to her is, are you going to stick around for a third time? Because don't forget, it's people like this and people like me. When I was in my 20s, we will lead you straight into bankruptcy. We will lead you into bankruptcy and then some. Just a thought.
We've refinanced or sold our houses 2 other times to clear his debt.
Sometimes I, at this age, am just amazed how much crap we voluntarily do to ourselves financially. And when I say voluntarily, I'm talking about whether you're the victim or whether you're the guilty party. Okay, guilty party being the one that's running up the debt, the victim being the one that's putting up with it. I think one of the things that my own debt history combined with listening to these shows and the countless articles I've read, because I don't just watch these shows, I do a lot of reading on this stuff too. All right. I'm just amazed at how much crap we really put up with. You love this person so much, you're going to sell your property, go bankrupt once, go bankrupt twice. I would say it's easier said than done. If I hadn't been the addict, that was the one with the shopping addiction. But that was probably in my younger years, I might say that. At 57, it ain't hard for me to say I'm done. At 57, knowing the past that I've had financially, knowing the past that addiction can put the innocent party through, at 57, is it hard for me to say, no, I don't want your addictive lifestyle. I don't want to sell our 2 houses. I don't want to have to find out that you've hidden 100,000, 50,000. I don't care what the deal is. Okay. I don't want to stick around long enough to find out you've hidden the debt not once, but twice. How many calls have we listened to where this action happens over and over and over again? And I want you to think about this. This is the debt that they know about. By the time it gets to a Dave Ramsey phone call, I can bet you 9 times out of 10, this is not the first time it's happened. Even though the caller will say, oh, well, this is the first time my husband did it, or even this is the second time. No. I'm going to say it's more like the 3rd, 4th, 5th time. Just a thought. Because by the time, here's what you have to remember when it comes to addictions, okay? And I don't even know what his addiction is, but I can tell you he has one. By the time the innocent party is to the screaming match point where they're calling in to a show to try and get help, by the time the innocent party gets to that point, I can guarantee you, I will guarantee my career on it, okay? The innocent party has already been dealing with it, but has simply been in denial. So once the innocent party gets to the point where they go, okay, I now accept that there's a problem, all those previous incidences that happened seem to be so easily, swept away. So in my view, by the time you get a letter or a call like this that says, oh, my husband did it once before, I can pretty much bet you a paycheck. No, he did it once before because that's what you found out about. That's what you are willing as the innocent party to admit to. So just think about that. Jamie, my girlfriend in crime, is in the house. Jamie, don't forget live streams are on Thursday, 7 to 7. They start between 7:30. I meant to text you, so I apologize. I did not. It was open house night.
I'm embarrassed to admit that I found myself scouring the couch cracks for enough quarters to buy a gallon of milk. He recently maxed out his credit cards and then took out an annuity to pay them off. He has sold my paid off car so that he could pay off debts. He comes home with something new whenever he pleases. About a year ago, I opened my own savings account. I'm afraid that our marriage will crumble.
No. You're not afraid. The marriage is gone. The marriage is done. Every now and then I will replay something because I think it has profound impact. We're gonna replay that little part again because that was a lot. And Jamie just came on, so hold on.
Recently maxed out his credit cards and then took out an annuity to pay them off. He has sold my paid off car so that he could pay off debts. He comes home with something new whenever he pleases.
He sold her paid off car to pay debt. Let me tell you something. Okay. Where's my family? My little Crimson out there, which has 4 payments left. Okay. If somebody that I was in a relationship with, married or not, took my little paid off Crimson in pearl red 2024 Corolla and used it, paid, ran up money, sold it to run up money to get us into debt. No, it's not, I think my marriage is over. It's my marriage is over. And the sad thing is I can't sue you because, we're a married couple legally and your debt's my debt. Kumbaya. Which tells you she is still not fully grasping and absorbing. And this is part of the process. Okay. It's part of the acceptance process. So we have to give her some leeway for that. But I would be livid. Absolutely livid.
About a year ago, I opened my own savings account. I'm afraid that our marriage will crumble and I'll need to move out. I even went back to school to finish my degree so that I could support myself if we separate. I have always stayed debt-free and saved what I could. I feel disrespected.
We don't think she's driving nothing now, Miss Jamie, because he sold her car so he could get the money, so he could get them into a debt for whatever his addiction is. You know, these things just, okay, here's what these type of calls do to me. They make me crawl into bed at night with my little cup of tea, even though it might be 90 degrees outside. And I just inhale and I exhale and I take this huge sigh of relief that I'm not the one in that position, that I'm not Susie in Florida on Dave Ramsey's question of the day. I am so happy. And maybe I appreciate it more because of what I've been through. All right. Maybe I do appreciate it more because of that. I'm sure I do. But I really look and I go, how much crapola can one innocent person take? But here's the thing. She doesn't realize it, but she's become a doormat. She has literally become a doormat in this relationship. And he knows she's a doormat. Like I said, folks, I would have divorced you right on the fact that you sold my car so you could run up debt. That right there. And, you know, don't get me wrong. It's not about the car. It's not because you took the car and you sold it, okay? It's that you took the car and you sold it, not to save the life of our child who needed some expensive medical procedure, which I'm sure I would have then known about, and then take the car, okay? But you did it, and clearly this was done behind her back. But here's the problem. All this stuff that he's doing, running up the annuities, you know, borrowing against the annuities. Annuities are supposed to pay you out, you know, for forever and ever unless you cash out the annuity, and that's stupid, okay? He's been able to do this for her. Why? Why has he been able to do this for her? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Because she allows it. You don't get played like this over and over and over unless you allow it. Just saying.
And fear that our family is at risk at all times. At this point, I'm so full of resentment and distrust that I'm constantly angry and anxious. What should I do?
And the savings account that she's opening up, guess what? In a divorce, 50% of it is his. This is some of those cases where they go, I can't even afford to get divorced. Yes, Jamie. Jamie writes, this is a deal breaker. Oh, Jamie, I knew you would think that. I absolutely knew you would. Yeah, this is a deal breaker. Oh, and Jamie, in case you missed it, he's run up $125K in debt, and it's the second time he's done it. Okay, so the first time, okay, for those who might be joining a little late, he did this the first time, and they sold off houses, property to get them out of debt, and now he's doing it again, and he's selling off a car. He's got some big addiction, clearly. The savings account, going back to that really quickly, if they were to get divorced, well, they got so much debt. I seriously doubt the savings account is worth anything. But even so, that savings account is 50% his, and so is the debt. The debt is 50% hers. Well, that's what Jamie's guessing if it's a gambling or something. I hope they tell us in the call. I don't know what it is. Oh, by the way, if you should have I was thinking it could be drugs or something. If you have a drug conviction, you cannot get federal student loans. You can be a gambler, you can be an alcoholic, you can be a child molester and all of that stuff. Yeah, they'll give you student loans. But if you have any sort of federal drug conviction, no student loans for you.
Well, yeah, you've got a problem. It's beyond a money problem. It's looking like a money problem, but it's beyond that.
She has a self-esteem problem. That's what she has. Look, you know, I'm not saying I'm no princess, okay, and I certainly haven't. You know, I'm certainly no princess. But here's the bottom line: this is all happening to her because she keeps trying over and over to save her relationship. And you've heard me say it, okay? As a former shopping addict, you can't save them. All they can do is take and take and take from you till they leave you broke, bankrupt, emotionally, financially, physically, okay? You're tired, you're exhausted, you're trying to raise the kids, even without kids. This is the type of situation that at 57, I would not have even been around long enough for it to get to this point. So I'm willing to bet a part of me thinks they've been around. They've been a couple for a while. I wish Sometimes the hard things, I'd like to know how long they've been married, what age they got together at. But they've been together on this journey for a while. And I guarantee you, and Jamie, I think you'll probably back me up on this, in her mind, she keeps thinking, I can help him. But in reality, he needs to help himself. I needed to help myself. Nobody could do anything for me. Yeah, you could tell me you love me and all that, but you weren't going to fix my problem for me. I ultimately had to do it. And it's a rough road, and I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
He's got a lot of problems. And the fact that you've already separated yourself to the extent that you have, you're looking at a life without him. And
the title, for those who can't see the screen, it says, I'm at my wit's end with my husband spending. Now, again, as a former addict, I ask myself, why do you need to wait till you're at your wit's end? Why not chuck it in before you get there? Because by the time you get to your wit's end, all right, like I said, you have been damaged and bruised emotionally, financially, physically. Here's something for you guys to think about, for you innocent people. You don't have to wait till you get to your wit's end. You can call it early a heck of a lot sooner than that. And yeah, it's hard to walk away from someone you love. It's hard, because you think, oh, I'm leaving them out to their own devices. You know what? Sometimes that's what people need. It's hard to admit that perhaps they don't need me. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason that innocent people stay, because the thought of, well, I love this person. I want to be with this person. Yeah, I get it. All right. I really do. But the problem is for them to clear whatever the problem is. It's not you. The problem is them. But the innocent people tend to keep, butting their head against the wall, trying to figure out what they can do. The problem isn't the innocent person. It's not. And so therefore the innocent person can't fix it. Jamie writes, she is allowing him. Yeah, absolutely. She's enabling him. That is probably one of the worst laundry lists. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Okay. This is one of the worst laundry lists I've heard of somebody repetitively damaging financial infidelity in the relationship to get money. I mean, he's going straight down to, we're going to sell the car. We did the annuities and all of that stuff. And of course, this is being done behind her back. But he's done it so many times because she's allowed it.
And you're getting your education to do that. You're setting aside money to do that. So in your mind, there is a line that he's crossed a long time ago.
And she stuck around for it.
And it sounds like you're in this position where it's like, once I get my footing, I'm out the door. And I don't know what you guys have talked about in way of counseling. I kind of have this acronym when you're in these situations. I always say it's a SAFE acronym, about keeping your money safe. And it's the S's. You need to seek counsel if you are experiencing things like addiction.
Guys, do you think there comes a point where really counseling just isn't it when it comes to a marriage like this? You always need counseling. Okay. I can get that part. But seeking counseling with someone who has done this much financial damage, what is there to save in the marriage? I don't see what there is to save in the marriage. I think she needs to go get counseling, and I think she needs to move on. And unfortunately, she's going to suffer the financial brunt of the relationship. As far as financially, she's lost. She's lost financially.
Abuse, financial infidelity, right?
I did say that.
Right? Those are the times that you seek counsel. And then from there, the E is you need to evaluate your options. What is it? Is it me having to separate funds for him in order to keep myself and family safe for a while until, the right counseling has taken place and we've seen evidence of change?
There is no evidence of change. There's not going to be any evidence of change. I rarely say this, but I think there's a point where someone is so far gone, you need to just cut the strings. It's like, what do I need to sit down and discuss with you? I think if you're going to try and save a relationship, those counseling steps or those marriage intervention steps need to be brought in sooner than later.
Is it I've got to get myself in a safe environment if there's some sort of abuse? So it sounds like you've already started implementing that, but I don't know about the counseling. That's the one thing I haven't seen here, and that's going to be paramount for you guys if there's ever even a chance of this working out, because he's a child. And I'm wondering if you're racking up this kind of debt, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. It's something going on.
Here's the other thing, and why I think the marriage is over. Nothing is more, and you've heard me say this, family. I haven't said in a while, but I am going to say it and repeat it. Nothing is more unromantic, unattractive mentally, physically, the whole 9 yards to me, than not being married to a man but a boy. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm not offending the guys out there. Okay. I'm just saying I'm the type of woman, me. Okay. I want a man. I don't want to be your mother. I don't want to be your bookkeeper. I mean, I understand, we're a couple and, you're in charge of the books or I'm in charge of the books. We have our monthly meeting. I'm not talking about healthy stuff like that. I'm talking about, okay, you've been naughty and I'm going to have to take over the finances and I want to see improvement here and here. That is crap that, children. Okay, you deal with children like that. I do not want an adult man who is my husband, all right? And I have to treat him like that because I'm sorry. If for me, okay, I'm just speaking for me. If I have to get to the point where I have to treat you like you're like I'm your mother, I'm just not going to be interested in you any longer as a spouse. I could be wrong, okay? And of course, there's always room for disagreement, all right? Feel free to talk amongst yourselves in the comments, all right? But for me, and maybe it's partly my age, maybe it's partly my experience, but there is nothing more unattractive to me than a man who is so undisciplined, not just with money, but it could be in anything. He's just simply undisciplined. Okay, it could be in career, in money, and whatever, name it, okay? That I have to take on the mommy role. It's like, spouses who have to go spying on each other and crap. Once you get to that point, once you have to spy on each other, once you get to the point where, one person's having, well, I want all your passwords and, this is the budget you're allowed to have because you've been naughty. Nah, forget it. For me, the marriage is done because I am no longer at that point married to a man. Okay. I tend to go more for alpha males. Okay. That's just me. All right. So to me, that's just a huge turnoff. And I could not find anything the least bit mentally attractive about that. I'm not saying he has to be, gunslinging, bike riding, you get my point. Okay. Jamie writes, some counsel. I keep forgetting that I'm wearing my bifocals. Isn't it nice not watching me switch my glasses back and forth? I just forget that my bifocals are on. Okay. Jamie writes, some counselors would have advised her to leave, especially if there are children. And there are children. Jamie, I don't think you were there for that part. Okay. Yes, there are children involved.
$125,000 in non-housing debt. And this is happening more than once.
When she says non-housing debt, it means it's not a house or a condo or townhouse, whatever they're paying for. It all is consumer debt. Yes, housing is still consumer debt, but it's more forgivable as long as it's within line to your budget.
I got to wonder if there's anything going else with another lifestyle, if there's some sort of addiction.
Maybe he's married. He's got a woman across town that he's got 2 kids with and he needs to support them. Hey, it is a thought.
Just don't see how you can do that. And you're looking for money for a gallon of milk.
How many of us have squeezed between the couch cushions, looked underneath the car seats? Okay. You're the driver, or actually it doesn't matter what seat you're in, but you're standing outside the car and the lever that, that moves the car seat back and forth and you literally have moved it looking for change. Oh, come on, family. Let's all admit it. Okay. Many of us have done that because you are looking for any sort of cash and you're not looking for cash because you got a big fat bank account and you need a quarter for the parking meter. You're looking for the cash because you're looking to fulfill your necessities and you don't have them. Yeah, Jamie, a double life. In some ways, I almost hope it's a double life instead, because man, if it's an addiction, whoo. Actually, it's all bad.
Yeah. So Susie, your marriage is over.
Yeah.
Hold on. See if I have some sad music. the marriage is over. I think we said that. I would applaud that, but I thought the music was much more tasteful. Yeah, the marriage has been over. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, yes, Parlor, that is a sad face. But Parlor, you knew it was coming. And you know why it was coming? Because they didn't pull their credit reports. But here's the thing. To pull credit reports even means each party must not be in denial about the actual situation. And in this case, Susie, in Florida, we don't have a state family, so I'm sorry. Susie in Florida has been in denial about this a long time. And I think it's interesting that it's only when maybe it got too personal. Okay, this is just my thought. She said they've sold houses, they've sold this, they've sold that. And she said houses. Jamie, I know you weren't here for the first half of the letter. She said houses. So we have multiple houses. So think about this. The money that they would have had without his addiction. Think about it. They've had multiple houses. He's been able to run up, 125. They sold the houses to pay that off. He's been able to run it up again. They're going to have to go to annuities, yada, yada. Okay. Think of the wealth you can have if you're with someone who's not going to make it go broke. And when I talk about wealth, I'm not just talking about money, okay? But wealth in the sense of you can freaking sleep at night. You can do a hard day's labor and know that your coins will be safely tucked away. Just think about, I sometimes wonder, and maybe listening to this show has helped awaken me a little bit, how many people retire without money because someone, or maybe it was themselves, okay, they were spending it all. Even when you hear stories about, I might do a clip on this. It's about a waitress who's here in Tampa. It's a little dining place that's now closed. I might do this. I don't think I've done it yet, but I just remember the line, everybody want a patty melt. And like your patty melt is here, okay? Worked as a waitress her entire life here in Tampa. It was a news story. And as one of the people in the news story said, one of the senior ladies goes, there's just no money. But if you choose to hook up with someone, you choose to stay with someone that's going to spend all your money like this is the result. Think about how much money they would have. Think about it, family. They had enough money for him to run up $125K. And if it wasn't cash, it was in assets because they did have to sell the house to get it. So think of it in terms of assets. They had enough assets for the first $125K. They're going to have to pay off the asset for this. Guys, that's $250,000. $250,000 right there. And sometimes, folks, we don't like to admit it. Who you're married to can also be the luck of the draw. I'm sure when she got married, I'm going to assume, we can't always assume correctly, okay? This wasn't happening. So sometimes the luck of the draw is, you just happen to get with someone that's going to spend all your money. How long you want to stick around for that? Jeremy is in the house. You're right, Jeremy. It is absolutely crazy.
Now,
that really long, I have to say, guys, that really long silence. You know why these long silences happen? It's not me being slow on the trigger. The reason these long silences happen, I think part of it, yeah, we're definitely shocked about the amount of money. But I think a part of this also is trying to process what we would do if we were in that situation, how we would handle it.
the only question is, can it be healed?
No. That is my unequivocal, I think that's the word, unequivocal answer. No, this cannot be healed. And I'll tell you, what the final pinch was? You sold my freaking car. As you know, if you've been following me, I have a storage unit. Yes, and I pay about $75 a month for it, and I make no apologies for it. I can afford it. It's within my budget, and I'm happy to do it. All right, I live in a very small place. That storage unit holds about 30 comforters, some bottles of water, and a few nice, other knickknacks and stuff. And I had a gal pal go out there last week to the storage unit because I need to go pick up something. I need to change my bed sheets. All right. And she looked at it and she goes, "Oh my goodness, Carrie." She goes, "This storage unit is like Christmas. Maybe I'll take a picture sometime and show it up on here." Okay. But it's filled with comforters, and it's a 10x5 locker. And it is so narrow because it's a 10x5 locker that my body width, if I stand straight forward like a soldier, okay, I'm touching comforters on each side. As my girlfriend called it, she called it the catwalk. She goes, "Yes." She goes, "We're walking down the catwalk." You want to make sure that I absolutely don't want to be with you, sell everything in that locker. And I think I've talked about this before, family. Sell everything in that locker behind my back so you can support your addiction. I will end the relationship. I don't care if it'd be cheaper to keep you or not. I'm gone. And it's not the stuff that I care about. It's that you didn't care enough about what that stuff represents. And without getting on a sidetrack, but you know how this channel works. The reason I have that stuff, because she did say, she goes, "Why do you own 30 comforters?" Without going on to a long tangent about it. Okay. I own so many comforters because when I was growing up, my home life was so freaking stressful that I had huge, huge bouts of insomnia and night terrors. I still occasionally get night terrors, okay? But I had huge bouts of insomnia. I'm talking like where I could be awake till 2, 3 a.m. just lying there and wishing I could still hear my parents. And, I always hated when my parents went to sleep, okay? Because now the house was really quiet. I had so much insomnia freaking growing up that one of the things I told myself was, you know what, someday I'm going to have the most gorgeous bed and I'm going to have the most gorgeous sheets, yada, yada. Okay. I now have it. I sleep on $5,000 of luxury. Yes. Between the mattress, the sheets, and the bed, it probably totals about $6,000. Right. I have about $2,500 mattress and about $2,000 bed frame. I was at the point, and I got it after I paid off my condo. But and so figure I finally got my dream bed about 2 years ago. Okay. I was so stressed out growing up that I was absolutely determined that someday, instead of going to bed and feeling like I was in terror, I was actually going to go to bed and feel like I was in the lap of luxury. I make my bed every single day. I know I've told Jamie, I change my pillowcases, all right, every single day. So it's not about the comforters. Believe it or not, I actually don't give a rip about the comforters. It's not the comforters themselves. It's what it represents. My suspicion, just going off of my own experience, part of what has done it for Susie, the selling of the car, the selling of the annuities, because I want you to think about it. This happened before. She said he ran up around $100,000. God, what a ridiculous amount. Jesus, I'm just swallowing, hard over that. They sold houses, but that was property. And I don't know how attached they were to those properties, but notice it got a little too personal. He sold my car. These are just things. I'm not saying that this is what she's thinking, but I would be thinking. You go to my locker and you clear it out. And let's face it, guys, addictions, okay? They're stupid. I've had two. You know this, okay? You go and you sell my locker. What you just did was you just invalidated everything that I've spent most of my life working to overcome. Insomnia, sleep terror, horrible night dreams, yada, yada, which I still suffer from, but now to a lesser degree. Something in my gut hunch tells me, it's just my gut hunch, that car, that was personal. The selling of the property, the house, that's okay, it's houses, and I suspect they might have been rental properties, vacation properties. But to me, listening to this letter, her car was personal. She said it. He sold my car. He gave up my car. That's the difference between shooting someone and stabbing someone with a knife. And they'll tell you, because I love true crime. Don't ask me why. With my financial nightmare, why I'd be attracted to true crime. I can watch true crime all night long, okay? Maybe that's why I have the nightmares, but that's another story. But the selling of the car, to me, I read as very personal. It's just something to think about. Carrie, give us some home decor advice. Not tonight, partner, but I'll be happy to tell you. I'm big into farmhouse. We can do that in after chat someday.
And put back together.
Matter of fact, Parlor, remind, we'll do it as an after chat someday. He was talking about whether or not they should divorce. Yes, unequivocally, yes.
The only shot at that is to get some professional help, because I can tell from reading this that you're done, but you don't even realize you're done.
She's been done. She just hasn't been able to admit she's done until this got so bad that she can't deal with it anymore. Oh, I want the farmhouse white sink too.
She's done.
The marriage is over. The marriage has been over. How much crapola, what is it, as David said, how much sewage? Are you ready to get out of the sewage? How much sewage do you want to sit in? Stick
a fork in it. You're done. And really, with what you've described, no one listening is blaming you. We're sick of this guy. Everybody that read this with us.
Thank you. We sick, and we are sick of it as well. And let me see if I have some. Do I have any like sort of gong church music or something? Hold on. That's for whom the gong tolls, saying ye should be seeking divorce.
So you're done.
Yeah, because how much sewer, how much sludge? People, when you go to bed tonight, Jamie, Parlor, MJ, Jeremy, when you guys go to bed tonight, you're going to be thinking, oh my God, after listening to some of these calls, my life looks so simple. Really, it makes me get down on one knee, and I appreciate, and I'm not being sarcastic. I can sincerely go to bed, and I can go, man, okay, 4 car payments left. I'm down to about 11 grand. I think I can do it. Just something to think about. You listen to these calls and you're just like, wow. But I think the hard part is, well, we definitely support that she's done. Do we feel sorry for her? That's a total different question.
No.
Yes, Jamie, she is in denial. Yeah.
Can it be salvaged? Yeah, it can be.
Of course, Dave's Christian side would say, can it be salvaged? But let me bring the maybe not so Christian side. Should it be salvaged? Just because something can be done does not mean it should be done. If I had been married at the time of my shopping addiction, okay, I would have absolutely not blamed him for going, I can't deal with this. I cannot deal with your shopping addiction. You're making us go broke. We are not doing well. I could not have blamed him. MJ writes, I was in $5,000 in debt and was sick every day about it. Yes. And that's $5,000. And that's probably $5,000 where you knew where the money was. Remember our first call from earlier on today's live stream? For those who missed the first episode, don't worry, you can catch it in the reruns, okay? All right. You probably knew where that $5,000 was. Jamie, you missed the first story, and that was a lady that was $150,000 in debt.
Probability is fairly low because 2 major things have to happen. He's going to have to change, and you're going to have to change.
And he's not going to change. Folks, I'm going to say it again. When they sell your car, all right, they do not give a crap about you. That is personal. My locker is personal. That's a straight knife wound.
And you guys got to have some help doing that. So get in touch with a marriage counselor.
No, we're not getting in touch with a marriage counselor. We're getting in touch with a divorce attorney yesterday.
He likely is not willing to go to marriage counseling. But
MJ writes, I'm now down to like $800. It's still on my mind. Yes, every penny counts. Okay, MJ, you know that live streams are on Thursdays. All right. When you get down to that last 800, you let us know, and we'll do a little after chat. We have to run the after chat. We'll do a little after chat celebration for you.
But you need to go sit down
if you would like
with one, and then they can give you words and phrases and give you clear thought on exactly how this is going to go down. But normally the way this would go down would be you would sit down with him.
Folks, I'm sorry, I do not agree with the going to a counseling. I think this over. This is over. Folks, thanks for joining me. My time is up, and so is yours.